Living shrouded for centuries in the area stretched from the Indus River to the Hindu Kush Range, ethnic Pashtuns are a dominant community in northwest Pakistan and parts of Afghanistan. The over 1,600-mile-long disputed Durand Line divides the Pashtuns living on both sides of the border. For years, they have been labeled as the face of the Taliban. However, the Pashtuns have a rich history of their cultural heritage and are a proud people. Ordinary Pashtun civilians have been facing innumerable miseries because of Pakistan's so-called war on terror. Pashtun civilians are deliberately mislabeled, harassed, and used as a political tool by Islamabad in order for the country to earn international praise for supposedly combating terrorism. Come with us as we take a closer look at the Pashtun community in Pakistan and Pakistan's targeting of this group under the guise of combating terror. On December 16, 2014, a terrorist attack on the Army Public School in Pakistan's Peshawar city shook the world's conscience. This attack was one of the world's deadliest school massacres. 7 gunmen affiliated with the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan killed 149 people, including 132 school children. In retaliation, Pakistan established the National Action Plan to crack down on terrorism. A joint military offensive called Operation Zarb-e-Azab was launched, and subsequently augmented by Pakistan Armed Forces in the Pashtun-dominated North Waziristan. The operation was primarily aimed at wiping out the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and other terrorist organizations. In April of 2017, Pakistan's ISI announced the arrest of Ehsanullah Ehsan, the Taliban terrorist responsible for the Peshawar Army School massacre. Unfortunately, in February of 2020, he was able to escape from the custody of Pakistani agencies. Advocate Fazal Khan, whose 14-year-old son was killed in the Peshawar school terror attack, has serious doubts surrounding Ehsan's imprisonment. Fazal, who is now living in exile himself, survived an assassination attempt in July of 2020 in Peshawar for exposing the nexus between Pakistan's secret agencies and the Taliban.
उसके एक कमांडर और तर्जुमान एहसानुल्लाह एहसान जिसको सो कॉल्ड पाकिस्तानी रियासती इदारों ने कहा था कि वो हमारी हिरासत में या हमारे पास है, उसको फॉर मोर देन 3.5 ईयर इन्होंने हम कहते हैं कि गेस्ट हाउसेस में रखा, सेफ हाउसेस में रखा, उनको फैसिलिटीज़ दी गई। उनको कभी भी किसी भी अदालत में, ये मैं चैलेंज करता हूँ, पाकिस्तान की किसी अदालत में उसको पेश नहीं किया गया, ना ही उसको सज़ा दी गई, इसके बावजूद कि उनके एतराफ़ात मीडिया पर मौजूद हैं।
Pakistan's so-called war on terror in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and other Pashtun-dominated areas displaced over 1 million civilians. A large number of individuals, including women and children, were forcibly kidnapped, tortured, and extrajudicially killed by security agencies in those areas. The Taliban also intensified its attacks in the region, resulting in the loss of life and property. The conflict gave birth to the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, a social movement founded in May of 2014 by Students for Pashtun Human Rights. Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, PTM, which claims to be an unarmed and peaceful resistance movement, has faced strong opposition by the Pakistan government and its security agencies. The Pakistani government has accused the group of dividing Pakistanis on the basis of ethnicity and of following a foreign agenda. The movement has received support in neighboring Afghanistan, where a large number of Pashtuns have joined the cause.
With all the attacks that the TTP is planning and has already conducted, the only viable solution right now has been that Pashtuns have come out on streets, they protested vigorously, they've said no to the presence of Taliban. Without the presence of PTM, you would have had a huge wave of terrorist attacks along the Durand line, and they have prevented them. So you see that they've become a buffer between communities, between people, normal people, and the terrorist attacks.
Malayas, who worked as the chief of staff of Afghanistan's former president, said the rise of PTM is not acceptable to the Pakistani army or the ISI.
To Pakistan military, it's not. For them, conflict, violence, not only outside of their borders, also inside of their borders, is a lucrative business. They'll never be happy about it. The Pashtuns have taken the initiative through PTM. They will continue their struggle peacefully at their own cost, using their own resources.
The PTM, led by Manzoor Pashtun, is holding frequent rallies in Pakistan and other parts of the world to seek justice for Pashtuns. At the United Nations Human Rights Council, PTM activists are seeking international intervention to protect the rights of Pashtuns, especially the victims of terror and those facing atrocities committed at the hands of Pakistani security forces.
Our basic demand was peace and right to life. That are the main demand of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. We want peace we want peace in our area. We are against war. We are against any sort of terrorism because we've been shown by the Pakistani state agencies like facilitators or sponsors of the terrorists. Rather, we are the victims of terrorism.
The Pashtuns living in northwest Pakistan are facing persecution at the hands of both state and non-state actors. Unfortunately, in those areas, security agencies and the Taliban are involved in narcotics trafficking and other heinous crimes. A 2022 report by NATO Defense Education Enhancement Program, DEEP, titled Narco Insecurity Inc., The Convergence of Pakistan and Afghanistan Narco Trade, has exposed the nexus between Pakistan's spy agencies and the Taliban to carry out narcotics trafficking to fund their operations. As Pashtuns in the region suffer human rights abuses, Pakistani security forces and the Taliban are enjoying a bond in the backdrop of a clean chit given to Pakistan by the Financial Action Task Force.
Since the inception of Pakistan, you have seen it that Pakistani state agencies have time and again admitted that they were nurturing these Talibans, they were supporting, they were facilitating them, though they were saying that we were having our own goals and agendas. It's a strange situation that the FATF has given them a clear check in spite of the people who are resisting state policies and against these Talibanization and Taliban resurgence. There are huge protests and demonstrations in the Pashtun belt.
Innocent civilian Pashtuns have for decades suffered human rights abuses and atrocities committed by Pakistani security forces as well as the Taliban. As the PTM grows and raises awareness about the extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances, the world will no longer be able to turn a blind eye. Pashtuns will continue to be empowered and demand their fundamental rights, exposing Pakistan, its army, and security agencies for the crimes they commit.